Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to film a little first trimester Q&A. I asked you guys to send me in some questions on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's down below, it's just ebellayt. So yeah, I asked you guys to send me in some questions, so I'm just gonna sit and go through them. I screenshot them. You guys asked me them a while ago, but I just haven't had a chance to film, so I'm just going to go through them now and answer some first trimester questions. So the first one is, what's the hardest part of your first trimester and how did you cope with it? So I feel like the first trimester for me was quite difficult. I felt like it was quite difficult. I know a lot of people have it a lot worse than I did. But the first trimester was hard for me. I was absolutely exhausted. I felt sick so often, like all the time. And I actually had sickness as well. So I was sick, I felt sick, and I was very exhausted. My skin has been awful also throughout, but I'd say the worst part, it has to be the sickness and nausea, because there's not a lot you can do about it. And I really struggled with like food. I couldn't make food. The thought of making food made me be sick. I remember one day I was like, right, I'm gonna have some egg on toast today. I'm gonna have some scrambled egg on toast today. I literally put the eggs down on the side. I hadn't even cracked them. And I was like, nope, gonna be sick. Threw up and was like, right, I'll just have toast instead. So the sickness and nausea was really hard. And honestly, it didn't stop. I think your first trimester ends at 12 weeks or 13 weeks. The sickness and nausea didn't stop for me until about 15 weeks. So that was really hard. I lost about half a stone in my first trimester because of struggling to eat and being sick and everything like that. So that was really hard work. I feel like no one really prepares you enough for that. Don't get me wrong, now I feel great. I feel like me again, and it's amazing. But obviously in the first trimester, they recommend that you don't really tell people just in case something happens. So like I felt rough all the time, but I couldn't like tell anyone why I was feeling so rough. So yeah, first trimester was kind of hard, but yeah, sickness and nausea was the hardest thing for me. Do you have a special diet? No, I didn't have a special. I ate whatever I felt like eating. I know some people find out they're pregnant and then go on like a massive health kick, and that's great. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I felt so sick a lot of the time that I ate when I felt like eating, and I ate what I felt like eating, just so that I was eating something, basically. Have you felt the baby move yet? No, I haven't. But I think that's quite normal with your first baby. Especially, I think that starts around halfway. Maybe even later, I'm not sure. Are you afraid of putting your baby into this world in the middle of a pandemic? Honestly, it's not something that I've put a lot of thought into. I feel like this is something that we've always wanted, and we have a lot of support around us, pandemic or not. Obviously, I'm being very careful, wearing my mask everywhere and sanitising and everything like that, doing everything I can to keep me and the baby safe. But it's not something that I like to sit and think about too much, because what can you do, you know? So a couple of other people have asked me the hardest part of the first trimester. One of my friends from work has said gender. I can now answer this one. When I put this up, I couldn't answer this, but now after watching, no, when you watch this, our gender reveal will be live, so I can say that we are having a little girl. How are you feeling mentally? So I honestly, I want to be honest about all of this. This is something that we didn't think was going to be easy for us, getting pregnant. We weren't sure that it was going to be easy because both of us have had problems before. If you followed me for a long time, you know that I've had problems. So we weren't sure how easy it was going to be. When I found out, we were so happy, obviously scared. I think everyone deals with those emotions, whether you're planning a baby or not. You know, you still have all these different emotions. At first, I went through like a week of having to process it. And I'm going to keep saying this, it's all we've ever wanted. And I wasn't taking that away. It was just, I needed to process the fact that in my head, I went through okay, now my body has to make this baby. I felt a lot of pressure at first because I was like, I've got to make this baby, keep this baby safe. You know, and Ryan kind of said to me, look, we'll just do everything that we can do. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And things like that. And Ryan's very level-headed like that. So when I have a bit of a freak out, he's quite good at keeping me calm. So after that, it was how I was living with my parents when we found out. And they were really excited, which really helped me to be excited as well. My parents are very chill and all they've ever wanted to be is grandparents, so they were so excited. And that helped me mentally, I think. I did have a bit of a episode, let's call it. A few days after we moved into our house, but honestly, change is a trigger for me, for my anxiety and panic attacks. Change is a trigger for me, so I don't think that was specifically pregnancy related. I think it was the fact that we'd just moved into our first home, we had all of these new things happening, and it was all just very different and weird for me. So I did struggle for a little bit. I just had one really bad week basically, and then I panicked and thought I'm going to have to go back on my medication, which I didn't want to do because they recommend that you don't, but it's fine. I spoke to my midwife and she was like, I've got so many women that are on medication for anxiety and whatever, it's perfectly safe, it's fine. So that helped me. I did go start taking my medication for a little bit, but it takes about a month to kick in anyway, and I started to feel better, I started to settle, so I stopped taking it because I didn't want to be taking it. So I stopped and I got over that blip, and Ryan was amazing. Like I said before, he's really good at kind of keeping me calm. I cried a lot and he just hugged me, told me it was going to be okay, and we got through it and it was fine. So yeah, I've gone through loads of different emotions, but right now I'm really good because I feel like myself again. We've processed everything, we've settled into our home. So yeah, we're all good. How far along were you when you found out? So I think I explained in my finding out I'm pregnant video, I was about 4 weeks. I was like the earliest you can possibly be when you find out. And that's because I just randomly took a test. I have irregular periods anyway. I randomly took a test one evening and it was positive, and that was that really. So I was about 4 weeks. I took one of the clear blue tests that tells you how many weeks you are, and it said 1 to 2, which means 3 to 4 basically. So I was about 4 weeks when I found out. Is pregnancy just terrible? Absolutely not. No. You have so many hormones in your body, it can be hard, it can obviously be really hard work, but at the end of the day, you are growing a human being, so no, it's not terrible at all. Have you felt any major changes to your body? So the only thing that I felt really changed for me in the first trimester was my skin. I have been very lucky and I've never struggled with acne or spots or anything, even going through puberty. I never struggled with any of that. But as soon as I got pregnant, I came out, I had lots of spots, and I still do now. I have a lot of spots on my chest and my back. My chin also, I've not tried to cover them anymore because they just are what they are. And I also found I'm really itchy, and that's carried on for me for, well, it's still going now. So yeah, my skin was the biggest change for my body personally in the first trimester, with it being covered in spots and really itchy and kind of like rashy, which was not something that you hear of very often. Food you used to hate but now love, or the other way around, any weird cravings? So I didn't find that I had many big cravings. I think, like I said before, I was eating what I felt like eating. So a lot of the time that was like McDonald's, or I don't know, just stuff that I didn't have to make, basically. Yeah, so the only thing that I did notice I was eating that I never used to eat before was Marmite. And I think that was because I was eating a lot of toast. But because of the nausea and the sickness, I wanted salty, I crave salty stuff, so kind of like salty crisps and stuff like that. So I think that's why I ended up eating Marmite, because it's really salty. So it's something that I could easily put on my toast that gave me a bit of salt into my body. But I think that was the only thing really that changed about my diet. What are you most excited about? What are you most excited about being pregnant? I don't know. I think I'm most excited to see what our baby looks like. I don't know if that sounds weird, but like it's 50-50 me and Ryan into a tiny little thing, and I've just no idea what it's going to look like. So I think I'm just excited to see what our baby looks like. I feel like she's going to look like Ryan. I've just got a feeling she's going to look like Ryan. I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited to see what she looks like. In which week did you notice your belly starting to grow? I would say probably around the week that my sickness and nausea stopped, so maybe around 15 weeks. I noticed it. I still don't think I've got a massive, what am I now? What day is it? I'm 19 weeks on Monday, and it's Saturday today. I'll try and show you my bump. So it's still not very big. Still not very big, but we're getting there. But yeah, I'd say probably around week 15, I really started to notice a difference, I guess. What's something you wish you knew before you became pregnant? So I wish I knew how difficult the first trimester could be. I know people say that it's not easy, but I think it's a long time. It's 3 months in my personal experience, it was 3 months, well, more than that, ended up being, of not feeling like myself, feeling poorly, feeling tired. So yeah, for me, I kind of wish I was a bit more prepared for that, and also kind of I wish someone told me to listen to my body, and if you need to go and have a nap, go and have a nap. Like, I'm quite a stubborn person, so I think I only went and had a nap in the middle of the day like twice, because I just I didn't nap in the day ever before. So to me, that was like, why do you suddenly need to nap during the day? Why are you so tired? So I just kind of put up with it, but I wish I kind of knew that it was okay to sleep more and rest more because your body's doing so much. But I just kind of felt bad, which is ridiculous, to be honest. Baby name ideas. So me and Ryan, baby names are something that me and Ryan have talked about a lot over the years. I think, I don't know if I can speak for most girls, but I feel like a lot of girls have a baby name notes in their phone. And I obviously had one of those, and every so often a name would come up that I fell in love with and I wrote it down, and then I'd run it past Ryan and he'd be like, nope. So it'd go off the list. But when we got pregnant, we looked at the list of the names that we had, and we decided on a name for a boy and a name for a girl. We actually had two for a girl, but one of the names that we've had for years has become really quite popular now, which isn't really something we wanted to go for. We wanted something that was a little bit different. Not completely out there, but something that was a little bit different. So yeah, so we had a name for a boy or a girl, and obviously now we know it's a girl, we know what her name is, and we've been using it just to make sure that we do like it and that it fits. But honestly, we're absolutely in love with her name. I'm not sure if we'll announce it before she's born or after she's born, but we'll see. Any plans for the baby room? For the baby's room? So we, like I said earlier, we've only, well, about a month ago moved into our first house. It's 2-bed, so we've got our bedroom and then we have the spare bedroom, which is no longer a spare bedroom. It will now be the baby's room. Right now, I don't have any plans. If you guys are good at that kind of thing, then please DM me stuff on Instagram, give me some inspiration, because to be honest, I don't really know where to start. I don't know what vibe I want to go for. So if you guys have got any suggestions, then please send me a message, let me know, stick something in the comments. Links and things to stuff, feel free, because right now I don't have any kind of ideas on where I want to go with the baby's room. So I've got 2 messages from the same person. One of them is, what were the main symptoms you experienced? I'm 6 weeks and the tiredness is real. Firstly, congratulations. Secondly, tiredness is real. Girl, go nap. Honestly, just go and have a nap right now. Why not? Main symptoms, like I said, I found out really early. My symptoms didn't start until I was 6 weeks, so I had 2 weeks of knowing I was pregnant and not having any symptoms at all. It's lovely. And then the symptoms kicked in, which was the nausea and sickness and tiredness and everything. So those were my main ones. And then she also asked, did you go for an early scan? And if so, when did you go? So because I've mentioned before I have irregular periods, I hadn't had a period since October, and I found out I was pregnant in January. So when I spoke to the midwife, she thought I was basically 12 weeks. And I was like, no, I know that I'm not 12 weeks. But obviously because they weren't sure, they wanted to get me in for a scan, because they'd rather get me in and have the scan and say, no, it's too early to have this scan, than for me to not go in and miss it. So we had a scan at 8 weeks at the hospital, which was all fine, and that confirmed that I was only 8 weeks at the time. And then we then had our next scan at 12 weeks to make sure that everything was okay, and they check the thing down the back of the baby's neck, and take blood tests and just run tests for certain things to make sure everything's okay with the baby, which came back absolutely perfectly fine. And then we had our wellbeing and gender scan at 16 weeks as well. So our next one is at 20 weeks. Will you give the baby both yours and Ryan's last name? No, I won't. So me and Ryan are getting married in a couple of months' time. I will be taking Ryan's surname, and the baby will also have Ryan's surname. By the time she is born, we will all have the same surname. When are you due? So we are due on the 13th of September this year, 2021. Okay, so that is the end of that video. It was slightly longer than any one that I normally do, but my battery's about to die. So if you like it, please give it a like. Any comments, please leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.